It reinforces and validates your product, your idea, your business, in a tremendous way that you cannot do yourself by just talking about it yourself. Pitch decks in general, I always say, put them together like you're a caveman or woman. If you don't even have customers yet, all good. I did that too. Just go out and interview target customers. Okay, welcome back. So I gotta say, I have been looking through a handful of pitch decks in the last week. I can't say I'm looking at dozens of pitch decks, not like a lot of angel groups or, venture groups are obviously looking at, but I have definitely looked at, obviously, my share over the years where I've mentored and helped people. But just since starting this podcast, and specifically in the past month, I have looked at a handful that are missing this key piece of information. And I'm noticing it's kind of a trend. And I think it's one of those things where it's just so easy when we're so close to our business and we're so close to these damn pitch decks that we have just tweaked a million times, and we try to fine tune them and make them perfect. And then we realize we're oh my God, we're missing such an important piece. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And again, I think it's so important to incorporate the emotional aspect of your business. And this helps reinforce that because at this early stage, so much of the decision by the investor is emotional. Numbers are great, but you need that emotional hook. So the thing I've seen that is missing from a lot of pitch decks that I've looked at just since starting this podcast is customer feedback and testimonials. So the more qualitative type of data. Again, numbers are great and they tell a story and it's an important story, but the emotion behind what your customers think of your product, that in itself can be enough to hook the investor in. So they want to hear your story, they want to hear your product story, and they also want to hear your customer's story. So it's so important. I've seen, again, multiple decks come through with no testimonials, no examples of customer feedback. And again, I think it also just really brings your business to life. Even something simple, like if you have a customer who loves your product and they comment on Instagram how it's the best thing ever and has changed their life, just a simple screenshot like that can really go a long way to make your business real, right? Or a testimonial from a buyer or from a strategic partner or something like that. It reinforces and validates your product, your idea, your business, in a tremendous way that you cannot do yourself by just talking about it yourself, right? So, okay, so here's some ideas on how to incorporate customer feedback. Testimonials, but short, impactful snippets of customers explaining how your product has changed their lives or business. And the reason I say short is because nobody is going to read, especially in a pitch deck, a paragraph of what your customer's saying. So even if your customer has written a paragraph, pull out just the one sentence that really shows your product or business or whatever it is has impacted them and left a great impact on them. Something short, something concise, something that is memorable and will get the point across quickly. Because again, you only have a couple seconds for people to actually read this. You also want to make sure that testimonial is kind of highlighting the pain point and how your product solved it, because that's going to reinforce the message that you're giving as you're talking about your product positioning and all of that stuff. So make sure the testimonial reinforces, what you're saying about your product and how it's positioned. Second method of bringing in customer data and feedback. Get that feedback directly from them using surveys, interviews, reviews. So actually go out, talk to your customers, interview them, try to dig down deeper into that pain point, what that is, why and how your product solves their problem, and then get that into your deck. Surveys are also great. If you can get survey data, that helps. Again, it just helps validate. It shows the number of people. It just shows that you're also making an effort to get your customers' feedback, which is important. The third way is using visuals. So again, screenshots, even a short video. And I say short again, I don't know, chances are people aren't going to watch a very long video. So I'm talking 2 to 3 seconds, or a quick montage of, a few customers saying a few things can be impactful. Make sure, again, you're balancing the visuals with concise text and avoid overwhelming the slide. Pitch decks in general, I always say, put them together like you're a caveman or woman and you are pitching to a caveman or woman. Simple, short, concise. People inevitably, literally 9.5 times out of 10, have way too much information in their pitch decks, way too many numbers, way too much, text, and and multiple points on one slide. Like when you start trying to do customer feedback and projections numbers and something else all on one slide, nobody is reading all of that, right? So you want to use the slide to direct the viewer's attention on the one key takeaway that you want them to get from that slide. So don't overwhelm your slides with a bunch of different information. Keep it concise, go through, trim out repetitive information. And again, make sure you're balancing the numbers story with the customer feedback story. It's not just for the deck. This is going to come up in the Q&A. Be prepared to show examples of customers, reactions, engagement, that kind of thing. I always used to do backup slides. It's nice to have. Can't say you end up using them a lot, but it's nice to have them for if it does come up. Okay, so action steps from here. Evaluate your pitch deck. Go through it. Are you showing an emotional impact of your product on your customers? Where can you trim the fat? Where can you simplify your message? And which slide makes the most sense to hit that customer testimonial? And what is the most impactful, concise thing you can show your customers saying? If you're pre-revenue, if you don't even have customers yet, all good. I did that too. Just go out and interview target customers. So I, for example, would go to hotel, alcohol beverage buyers, like the biggest, fanciest hotel. I would go talk to their buyer and get a testimonial and get, what they thought of it and ask if I could use their testimonial, and they were cool with it, right? So go out, talk to your future customers, get their feedback and incorporate that feedback. That can be even actually more important. The other thing that's really helpful is just people who are committed to purchasing have their logos, on a slide, versus a bunch of text in there. So again, go through your deck, review it. How can you incorporate customer feedback, that emotional hook that's going to get the point across of why your product or your business or your company is the best damn thing ever? And I think it will help reinforce all those numbers on your deck. So hopefully that helps. Again, the pitch process is very much storytelling, your story, your product story, and your customer story. So incorporate all three, and I think you've got a much better shot at nailing that pitch. Okay, thank you all, and we'll see you next time.